Hey guys, what's going on? It's Simon here, and welcome back to another video on the God Wars Dungeon Rework day of release. So we've already shown you a few of these videos. Of course, on the screen right now, the links to all the videos that we're going to release today. Some of them may be out, some of them may not be out. So make sure that you check out them if they are. We wanted to just break it up so you didn't have to watch all of them through, because obviously it's a lot to show you. There's a lot of reworks. It's not just graphical. There are some other changes as well. So we don't want to include it all in just one video. So this video is actually going to be another before and after video, this time looking at the armor instead of the weapons. So the armor, as you can see right now, we're looking at the Bando's armor. Now, even though this is going to be a before and after, obviously it's not going to be quite the case in the case of Bando's, because they did actually update it previously. It was actually about a month ago or so. They updated the look of Bando's, and obviously only in the game at the minute we have the boots, the tassets, and the chest plate, and they updated that. But obviously now we do have new items in the game. Now these photos are actually taken from the beta, because I didn't actually have access to be able to buy these items on the Grand Exchange. They cost a fortune at the minute, but it isn't the beta, so I thought it's just as easy just for me to go ahead and show you these. And you can see the kite shield. We've seen it before. It's got this crazy like chain going all around it. It looks pretty awesome. It's got that really like bright glowing orange symbol on it of the Bando's icon. Really cool. Now there's a lot of sort of controversy around the Bando's. It's quite a popular armor set, and so some people do like the new look, some people don't like the old look. But I don't know. It's obviously you got the helmets looking pretty funky there, two massive spikes. I don't think people can really complain about the new look of the new pieces. Obviously the gloves are they're only gloves. You can't really do much to them. But the helmet and the shield, they definitely look really cool. So overall, as an expansion to the armor set, definitely awesome. Obviously adds some value to the drops at Bando's, which is always a good thing. So next up we've got the Armadillo, and that's in a very similar position. Obviously there's the new Armadillo buckler, which is the shield. Now also there's actually Armadillo boots, which I'm not wearing right now because weirdly enough they're not in the beta. They are actually coming into the game, and they probably are being dropped right now, but they're not actually in the beta, so I couldn't actually wield them. But there are the Armadillo gloves, so obviously that gives you some range attack potency. Obviously Armadillo already had the helmet, and Bando's had the boots instead, so it's kind of a bit of a weird way they actually released it when they released it back in 2007, but now they've got the full set on both, so definitely a good improvement there to both sets. Now next up we've got the Torva. Obviously they're not going to graphically rework this thing again, but you will notice that I'm wearing the Torva gloves and the Torva boots, which should now be available in the game. So these are obviously from the beta. As you can see, you've got like full fingers. They have actually updated the player rigs in game, so maybe you have got the fingers now, but this was just the easiest way to show you guys the gloves and the boots. Obviously these are designed just to match the sort of Torva set, and they look pretty cool. Be interesting to see though if they're actually a viable choice, whether they're better or worse than the Dragon and the stuff like the Steadfast as well. So now move on to some pictures that I can actually show you before and after. So the Virtus armor here is the old look Virtus armor. Obviously I took this in the beta because obviously then I could show you the Virtus boots, the Virtus gloves, as well as the Virtus wand and the Virtus book of magic. So I thought I'd take this shot. You can see the whole thing. You can actually kind of tell that the sort of the book of magic, it's quite sort of high detail kind of image. And then the old armor, again, there's not a lot of detail on there. So you can tell that some of them are basically graphically reworked. We're fairly sure that the boots and stuff haven't changed since the beta when they showed them in the beta, exactly how they're going to look in the game now. So it is just the main three pieces, the head, the body, and the legs that have changed. And you can see the old set. A lot of people sort of didn't like the face of Virtus, so it was kind of quite aggressive as a magic, but some people really did, some people really liked the look. Overall, I think the robes did look really cool, and they have changed them quite significantly. So now we can see the robes. The mask has changed a lot. It's very dark. It's almost pitch black, and it's got the two spikes. Instead of being like a bright silver, they're just bright black spikes. And I don't know, it's kind of weird. I have to say I'm not a massive fan of this armor set. It's a bit too dark, a bit too sort of evil looking for me. I don't know, I quite like the sort of the robes as a whole, but it's just the mask. I don't think it blends well with it. I just prefer the old sort of more purple look of it rather than this deep black colour. I definitely like the whole purple theme around sort of Zaros and that kind of thing. So personally, it's not to my taste, but maybe you guys will like it. Now, obviously, you can see that I'm not wearing the boots and gloves. That's just because I didn't manage to buy them in the real game, because they would have cost an absolute fortune right now. But as I said, they haven't really been graphically changed from the last image, so they are going to look exactly the same. Just another shot looking at the back of Virtus there. You can see that it has got a bit more purple around the back, so I guess that does redeem it a little bit. It does look quite nice, but again, it's just the really dark. It's weird the way it goes from like black at the top down to quite a bright purple at the bottom. It's just kind of a gradient thing. Not for me, but I'm sure some people will like it. Now we're moving on to obviously the Pernix, and you'll see that they've got the Pernix boots and the Pernix gloves here from the beta. So that's what they'll look like in game. I didn't actually have them, of course, so I couldn't really show you them. But you can see the old look Zaurite bow along with the full Pernix set. Obviously the Zaurite bow is a little bit separate, but I thought I'd include it in with the range set. Obviously it only makes sense. Now the Pernix armor is something that I really love the look of. It looks absolutely sick, and I think everyone's always been a massive fan of it. They did a really good job designing this, but they thought it was a little bit outdated. They thought it needed updating, and this is what they came up with. So I have to say, I'm not a massive fan. Now, we did see the concept art for this one. It was posted on the careers page of Jagex. It was quite a long time ago. But it does look really weird. I quite like the sort of the cowl. It's got this sort of face mask, makes you look quite sort of evil and sinister, which is all right. And I don't know, the chaps with the sort of flailing out metal spikes, they look kind of interesting. But again, the plate body, I don't know, it was really unique. It looked really cool, really clean, and this one's kind of just a bit, I don't know, it just looked a bit weird to me. Obviously, this is just my personal opinion. I don't personally like the look of it so far, but it's just one of those things. I'm sure I'll get used to it, that's for sure. Now, I took another angles. You can see the Zaurite bow. You can see now it's got sort of two bits that come out from your hand. It sticks out quite a lot. The arrows obviously still glow purple and such, so there isn't too much of a change, just an overall change of the armor set. Now the weird thing is, if you look at the plate body, you can kind of, or the Pernix body rather than plate body, it does seem to now actually be a plate armor. It seems to have this like big metal point coming out of the middle, which is really strange. I don't know if that's just to make you sort of buff you out a bit, make you look a bit stronger, but to me it just looks a little bit odd, I have to say. I'm not a big fan. But I have to say, I don't know, the chaps are looking pretty cool. I kind of like the long sort of leg look of it, and the fact that it comes down in little straps and has spikes on the end. It kind of looks interesting. I didn't think I'd like the look of it, but I don't know, running around with it in game, it did look kind of cool. So overall, the chaps are good. I think it's just the body I'm just not a fan of. But again, it's one of these things. You may not like it now, but you'll always get used to it. A lot of people will say that they preferred it as it was before. I'd have to say I did prefer the Pernix before. If it was just a bit more high res, I think that would look cooler. But that's just my personal opinion. Anyway guys, so that's all the armor sets that have actually been changed and updated. Obviously it's really only the Pernix and Virtus there, but obviously we've had the additional pieces of the Bandos, Armadillo and Torva sets as well that have gone in there, so I thought I'd show you those as well. As I said before, if you want to just click on any of those videos that we've got out today, looking at the different aspects of the God Wars Dungeon rework, then make sure you do that, and then we'll see you again later on today.